So we are inside of Marketing Cloud, and I did a bit of cleanup of these data extension folders. So Boyo, who I think your actual name is Bayo, but I think you go by Boyo, recommended we sort these into folders. So you guys are cohort 6, you have your own folder, you have your own root folder, and each of you can create your own individual folder under the cohort 6 section. I moved all the cohort 5 folders that were previously just lying around. I've moved them into the cohort 5 folder. So it makes this a little bit easier to navigate. All right. Yeah, makes sense like this. So, but for today, we're going to switch gears and talk about a new topic. All right. We're going to talk about the Marketing Cloud connector. All right. So we're going to talk about this for likely the next day or 2 or 3. We'll talk about it, and then we'll go through the process of connecting a Marketing Cloud account to a Salesforce CRM. All right. So, but first, I have to give you all of the skinny on the Marketing Cloud connector. As you see here, there are 182 slides. But of course, I'm not going to read these slides to you. We'll go through some of the slides as we also start to go through the integration process. Okay, so let's start by sharing the agenda with you on what we're going to talk about when it comes to the Marketing Cloud connector. So the connector essentially connects Marketing Cloud with the CRM. That's what it does. Okay, so just for context, as I've mentioned a few times, there are lots of organizations out there that have Salesforce Marketing Cloud, and they do not have a CRM. They just have, so let's say, for example, they have Microsoft Office. They use Microsoft for their work email. People get emails on Outlook and all of that. People save files on OneDrive. That's where they store all of their data. All of their data is in OneDrive. All right. And they might also have Azure for some of their business data. They use Power BI. They use the Microsoft suite of solutions, but they also have Marketing Cloud for all of their email marketing. Okay. There are lots of companies like that. They have Marketing Cloud, but they do not have the Salesforce CRM. All right. So as I've tried to emphasize, Marketing Cloud can be used, it can be used as a standalone platform. You don't need to have the CRM to use Marketing Cloud, and vice versa. You don't need to have the CRM, or you don't need to have Marketing Cloud to use the CRM. Okay? They can work perfectly without each other, but they become even more powerful when you connect both systems. Okay? Just want to emphasize that. They are standalone products, but they work very well together when you connect them. All right, that's the gist of this next few days. What happens when you connect those two systems? What are some of the things you can do once those two systems are connected? And how do we go through that connection process? We're going to go through it. We're not just going to talk about it. We're going to actually do it. All right. So here's what we'll cover. Some terminology and some of the things you can do once you've connected both systems. So email sends, your data analytics, managing unsubscribes, and some of the general administration that comes with having both systems connected. Okay? All right, so that's my phone number. Just in case you need to reach out directly to me, that's why I put it there. All right? You don't have to wait till we get to class to reach out to me. So here are the things we're going to talk about. So this image here, this is the summary of what I just explained. So on the left-hand side, in, what is this, orange or brown, is Marketing Cloud as a standalone product. It can work effectively by itself. You can bring data in from any data source. You can segment people. You can send them emails. You can send them text messages. You can send them push messages. It works just fine by itself. And then on the right-hand side is the CRM, which could be Sales, Service, Cloud, which works just as well by itself as a standalone product. But when you connect the left and the right together using the Marketing Cloud connector, which is an API, and by the way, APIs are simply bridges that connect two systems together so that data can flow back and forth between both systems. So when you connect a Marketing Cloud account and a Salesforce CRM, either Sales or Service Cloud, doesn't matter. When you connect them together, you can do even more. So for some folks on this call, you might get this if I use a different analogy. So growing up, there was this cartoon called Voltron. Yes? It was, think of it like the old version of Transformers. So for you younger folks, you know the movie Transformers. Back then, it was Voltron and there was Power Rangers, but it's the same concept. All these different powerful forces come together and they form one very powerful, I don't know, robot or structure that has the combination of all those powers. That's the idea here. This is like Transformers. You have the power of Marketing Cloud, you have the power of the CRM. When you bring them together using the connector, you have an even more powerful platform. All right. So we're going to show you how to do this connection if you need to. All right. And if you work in an organization that already has both systems connected, what you'll learn over the next few days is how to, if you are given access, you learn how to manage that connection, how to troubleshoot issues that might come up during that connection or later on, okay? So now let's talk about some basic things. Let's make sure we get some of the fundamentals right. All right, good, you're following along, that's what matters. So when you connect Marketing Cloud to the Salesforce CRM, you become able to send email messages that you've created inside of Marketing Cloud. You're now able to send them to contacts and leads, all right? That's what you get. So you see here in this screenshot, so we're starting with the end in mind. So once you've connected both systems, there becomes a tab that becomes available to you. It's called the Email Send tab inside the CRM. And from that tab, you'll be able to select either a report or a contact or a lead or a bunch of contacts or leads and send them an email message that you've created from inside of Marketing Cloud. But see, you're able to do it from the CRM. So if we go to the CRM, once we've connected the two systems, so right now, we haven't gone through the process, but once you do, there will be a tab or there will be an app called email, email sends. Right, so right now we can't see it because we've not connected this sandbox to this marketing cloud account. But once we do, we'll be able to see this tab here. And from the CRM, we'll be able to select an email message, select a list of people, select a sender profile, and send an email message to people from inside the CRM. All right, that's part of the advantage of connecting both systems. So it leads to a more seamless experience for a user. So users don't have to come into Marketing Cloud to send emails. They can do it right from the CRM once we've built that bridge between both systems. Okay, right now in this sandbox that we're going to use to illustrate that connection, we've not done the connection yet, so we cannot see that app or that tab. All right, but once we do it, we'll be able to see it. So, and this is what it'll look like. In addition, you're able to do other things such as A/B testing from inside the CRM. This is what it'll look like. And you can set up triggered email sends. So a triggered email send I think it's quite straightforward, but it's simply, you could set up rules such that, or for example, you could set up a rule in the CRM where you say, once a lead gets to whatever stage, when they move from open to, I don't know what, let's see what the stages are here. Let's see, where is the stage field? I don't think there's a stage. Anyways, status, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. So let's say you set up a rule in CRM and you say, once a lead moves from the new status to the qualified status, I want an email message sent to them instantly. That is doable once you've connected both systems. That's the gist here. All right. So I'll show all of this to you guys once. You don't have to go through all of these slides, but it just tells you some of the things you enable or some of the things you unlock once you've connected both systems. Okay, so this image here just further explains what you get, the power you suddenly have once you've connected both systems together. All right, let's see, is that a question? Not a question, okay, I'll keep going. So where are we? And then, so I just talked about some of the things you'll be able to do from within the CRM once you've connected Marketing Cloud to it. On the flip side, once you've connected Marketing Cloud to the CRM, you now become able to see object data. So you can bring in data from whatever object you want, either standard objects like these ones across these tabs or across this tab, either standard objects or custom objects. You can bring in whatever data you want and use that data to segment people and send them messages inside of Marketing Cloud. All right. So at the moment in this Marketing Cloud account, this Marketing Cloud account is still connected to a CRM sandbox that we did for cohort 5, right? So how can we tell? So if you go to setup and you click on, or you search for Salesforce integration, you'll see here that it is connected to a sandbox. So, and as you see here, it's the one that was used for cohort 5. Okay, so I'm going to disconnect this sandbox just so we go through that whole process once again. So I'm going to break this connection, and then we're going to do it afresh, connecting to this sandbox that we have for cohort 6. All right. So the disconnection process will happen in a few minutes, and then you guys are starting from scratch. You'll be able to see everything from the beginning. I don't want to use that existing connection to explain things to you. I want you to see it from scratch, like the previous cohort. Okay, so, but in general, if you have access to a marketing cloud account and you just want to check to see, let's say you work at a company that has both systems. They have marketing cloud and they have the CRM, and you want to check, is the marketing cloud account connected to the CRM? This is the location where you can do a quick check. All right, so you simply go to setup, go to the search box and just type Salesforce integration. And once this page loads, you'll be able to tell if that marketing cloud account is indeed connected to a Salesforce account. So as you see here, there's no connection. It's not connected to any account. All right, I just disconnected it from the cohort 5 sandbox. All right, so that's one place you can check. And as you've probably heard me say more than once, in Marketing Cloud, there's usually more than one way to do some things. So another place you can check to see if a Marketing Cloud account is connected to a CRM, a Salesforce CRM, is from here in Contact Builder. So if you go to Contact Builder and you click on it, you go to Data Sources, and you click on Synchronized. If this Marketing Cloud account was connected to a CRM, you'll see that CRM account ID here. You'll see it. But right now, because we're not connected to any CRM, we don't see any information here. But once we do the integration to this sandbox and we come back here, we'll be able to see the sandbox data. We'll be able to select what objects we want to bring in. We'll be able to select what fields from that object we want to bring in. All right. So, okay. Any questions on any of this so far? Or is it straightforward enough? Yes, good luck. Please unmute yourself and proceed with your question.
Okay, cool. I'm unmuted now. So I was just going to ask, is it always, do you only connect to sandbox, or can you connect to like production?
Yes, so you can connect to production, not just sandbox. Okay. I'm using sandbox for this demonstration just because a sandbox, I requested the sandbox from Blackforce, so that's what we have. But we can connect to a production instance or a sandbox. It's the same process. All right? And thank you for asking that. So, folks, the connection can be made to any production instance or a sandbox instance. It's not limited to one or the other. All right? And it's the same process to do the connection to either production or sandbox. All right. And then another question that might come to mind for you guys is, okay, we've got 2 business units in this Marketing Cloud account. When we connect to, let's say we connect to the sandbox, where does that data sit? Does it sit in the parent business unit or the child business unit? Can anyone guess what the answer to that question is? Let me ask the question again, just in case you missed it. We've got 2 business units in this Marketing Cloud account. Yes. When we integrate this marketing cloud account to this sandbox, where does the data from this sandbox show up in this marketing cloud account? Does it show up in the parent business unit, which is Manifest, or in a child business unit, which is Black Force business unit? Okay. All right. Any other guesses? Parent. Okay. Yes. So it shows up in the parent business unit. All right. That's the default setup. However, if you have a situation where, let's use a different company today. Let's say FedEx. FedEx operates in at least 50 countries around the world. Let's say they used Marketing Cloud for each of those countries, right? So each country had a business unit and each country had a CRM production instance. And they wanted to connect each of the business units with each of the corresponding production environment. In such a scenario, you will need to reach out to Salesforce support to enable the multi-org capability for Marketing Cloud. Once they enable it, then you'll be able to connect specific business unit to specific production or sandbox instances, right? But for the scope of this class, what you need to know is by default, when you connect a Marketing Cloud account to a Salesforce CRM, the data sits in the parent business unit, okay? So when we go through this exercise, you'll see the data from this sandbox will become available in the parent business unit. So let me show you where we'll see that data. So if you go to data extensions, see how right now, all we see is just data extensions and shared items. We don't see a section for synchronized data extensions. We don't see a section for Salesforce data extensions, right? Once we've done that integration, we'll see those sections. So folks, you could take a mental picture or you could take an actual picture of this section. This is the before picture. And once we do the integration, you'll notice the difference. There'll be a folder for Salesforce data extensions, and there'll be a folder for synchronized data extensions. All right. So just keep that in mind. I'll point it out to you once we go through the process, but let's keep it moving. So, what else do we need to point out? So this just talks about some of the features that you enable inside of Journey Builder once you have both systems connected. But this I will cover, so don't worry about it. We'll cover this in the Journey Builder class. So we're going to have probably 2 to 3 classes on Journey Builder. So it's going to be very detailed. So we don't have to worry about it now. Okay. Before we proceed, let's get some things straight. We have to be on the same page when it comes to the terminologies. All right. So subscriber key that you have come across before, that is the unique identifier that we use in a data extension. So let's see. We go here. So remember when we sent an email to this group of 5 people? Yes. When we created this data extension, we selected email address as our subscriber key. We selected email address as our unique identifier. All right, so that's what your subscriber key is. It's your unique identifier inside of Marketing Cloud. So the next terminology you need to know is your Marketing Cloud user. So a Marketing Cloud user is anybody who has access to Marketing Cloud. That's who a Marketing Cloud user is. So all of you by now should have access to Marketing Cloud. So all these folks, these are Marketing Cloud users. I am a Marketing Cloud user. That's what that terminology is. All right. Anyone who has access to Marketing Cloud is a Marketing Cloud user. A Salesforce user is, just like the name implies, somebody who has access to Salesforce. All right. So if we go to users, you guys are already familiar with this, but I'll just emphasize it. So these are Salesforce users, people who have access to Salesforce, right? And then and there's a reason why I'm going through this terminology, because it's going to make sense in a few minutes. But once we've connected both systems, you'll be able to send emails to reports, to campaigns, to leads, contacts, and you'll be able to do that inside of the CRM, right? And then the other thing is, once both systems are connected, as I mentioned, there's going to be, let's just duplicate this, because I need to show emails to you. So once both systems are connected, this thing. Okay, once both systems are connected, we'll be able to see the Salesforce data extensions folder here. And the purpose that the Salesforce data extensions folder serves is to push tracking data for people you send emails to back into the CRM. So once we've connected both systems, let's say we create a list of contacts or a list of leads and we send them an email for the opens and clicks and all those engagement data, for that to get pushed back into the CRM. That data extension is going to sit in the Salesforce data extensions folder. All right? Don't sweat it. I'll demonstrate all this to you once we've connected both systems, but that's the message here. This sentence at the bottom, that's the message I'm trying to get across. Okay, so for this connection to work, or for a user who has access to the CRM to be able to send a Marketing Cloud to a lead or a contact from inside of the CRM, that user needs to have a corresponding Marketing Cloud user. Okay, so in simple terms, if there are, let's say, there are 34 of us on this call, yes? And all 34 of us have CRM access. We have user profiles in the CRM. For each of us to be able to send an email that was built in Marketing Cloud to a lead or contact from inside of the CRM, we need to have corresponding users in Marketing Cloud. So, for example, there is, I'm just going to pick some names. UDWAC, let's say UDWAC has a user profile in the CRM. We need to give UDWAC, if UDWAC's role requires her sending emails to people, let's say UDWAC works for FedEx, yes? UDWAC has a CRM user profile. And UDWAC's role requires her to be sending emails to people. We need to make sure we give UDWAC a Marketing Cloud user. So we're going to connect UDWAC's CRM user profile with UDWAC's corresponding Marketing Cloud profile. All right? That's what we have here. So we have to do that for every user in the CRM who will need access to emails and such, or access to Marketing Cloud functionality. All right? So it only applies for people within an organization who need that access, right? Just like in a typical CRM, you're not going to give everybody in the organization, you're not going to give them system administrator rights, correct? You probably give that to people in IT or people in senior leadership or whatever. You limit people's access to their job functionality. So same thing here. If people need to have access to Marketing Cloud features, we'll need to give them a Marketing Cloud user profile and connect that profile to their CRM user. All right, folks, does that make sense? Hope that's clear enough. If it doesn't, it will once we go through this exercise, all right? But I'm going through these key points just to make sure you have enough context before I start doing the actual integration, okay? So this is what will happen. So let's say I'll keep using UDWAC for now. UDWAC has a CRM user profile. We'll connect UDWAC's user profile in the CRM to UDWAC's Marketing Cloud profile. It's going to come up. System's a bit slow tonight, but nevertheless. So we'll connect UDWAC's CRM user to UDWAC's Marketing Cloud user. And then UDWAC will have the right access that she needs, okay? If she needs that level of access, right? Now, the other thing to keep in mind, before we even get to giving people specific level of access, we need to start by giving both systems access to each other, okay? So I mentioned earlier, the connection between the CRM and Marketing Cloud is based on APIs, right? So we need to build that bridge. So for that to happen, and this is best practice, for this connection to happen, you need to have a dedicated user created inside of Marketing Cloud, and you need to give that user the administrator right in Marketing Cloud, and you need to do the same thing in the CRM. So you need to have a dedicated user in the CRM with the admin level access, and you connect that CRM user with a Marketing Cloud user, and by doing that, you've built the bridge between both systems. So once you've done that, then you can start connecting specific users together. Okay? So that's what this here is telling you about. So we need a system user in the CRM, and we also need a Marketing Cloud user with the highest level of access in Marketing Cloud. So we need highest level of access in the CRM, highest level of access in Marketing Cloud. We connect both systems, and by so doing, we built that bridge between Marketing Cloud and the CRM. Okay, so this just tells you the role or profile that the user needs to have. So we need the admin user because we need access to all features to build that bridge. Okay, so there is a step-by-step process to do this integration, okay? And that process is in the PDF that I shared with you guys. So if you scroll to this section, so use Marketing Cloud Connect to integrate with Salesforce CRM, this trailhead has the end-to-end, step-by-step process to get this connection set up. And we're going to go through this guided process to complete this exercise, okay? And I refer to this because it's very helpful. And each time I need to do this process, even though I've done it a few times, but each time I need to do it, I always come back to this trailhead. So if I'm doing it for a client, I always come back to this trailhead to make sure I'm following all the right steps. Okay, so let's see, does it require me to log in? Okay, I think I'm already logged in. So these are just some terminologies. All right, so some prerequisites. Okay, so step one is make sure you have the right level of access, okay? And then step two is install the managed package. So folks, we're going to start the integration process by following these steps. So let's go ahead and this is install the Marketing Cloud package. Okay, so we'll come back to that. But just before I move on with these steps, just to give you guys some additional context. So let's say I was doing this for a client. Some of the things I'll tell them before I go through the process is what I need. So I'll tell them, first of all, I'm going to need someone in your organization. So let's say I was doing this for, let's say, FedEx or RBC. I'll say I need someone in your organization to create a user and assign that user 2 roles. And can anyone guess what those 2 roles are? So I need a user created in Marketing Cloud, and I need 2 roles assigned to that user. Folks, if you're following along, put in the chat what you think those 2 roles should be for the user I need in Marketing Cloud to do this integration. Okay, excellent. So thank you for that. That is correct. We need the user to be assigned these 2 roles. Where's the second one? Yeah, that's it. These 2 roles. And that's because having the combination of these 2 roles gives you the highest level of access inside of Marketing Cloud. All right. So that's the first thing I'll say to the client. Create a user for me. Use an email address that you guys have access to and assign these 2 roles. So that's requirement number 1. And then on the CRM side, I'll say to them, create a user in the CRM and assign that user the system administrator role. Okay, so that'll be the other requirement I'll need from them in the CRM. Once they've given me the login credentials for this system user, and they've given me the login credentials for the Marketing Cloud system user with these 2 roles assigned, then I'll come here to go through these steps. Okay, so just before we go through these steps, I'm going to do a few things. So let's go find Okay, so see here, this is the integration user that I used for cohort 5. So instead of creating a new one, I'm going to reuse this user. Okay, so if we go take a look, oh, they've changed the level of access. So good thing I've checked. I need to change these roles for this user to those 2 roles that we talked about. So instead of this, I need this one and this one assigned. All right, so now my integration user on the Marketing Cloud side has this email address that I have access to, and they also have the right roles. So let's just double check. Manage roles. Okay, so that's good. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is, because this sandbox, this was created by Black Force, and these users, the only 2 users here with system admin level access, I'm going to change this email address to my email address, which is this one, just so if any notification gets sent for this user, I can see it because I don't have access to this mailbox, this support at Black Force. So I'm going to change that. Yeah, let's use that. Support Black Force. Let's see if I can even change the name. Let's see if it'll let me do that. I hope it does. Yes. Okay, good. Oh, actually, I want the email changed. You know, I must verify this change. Oh, you click the email was sent to specify address with directions. Okay, so was an email sent to me? I know that. Oh, yes. Or maybe not. When was this? 6:45. Okay, so the email was sent to me. Right, so that's correct. I'll click here. Okay, email changed. So if I go back here, no, not here. If I go back here. All right, so the email has been changed to my email address. So, folks, let me just explain what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. So as I mentioned, if I was doing this for a client, I'll say to them, in your CRM, please create a user, give that user this name, use an email address that either I or someone else has access to, and assign the system administrator profile to that user, and make sure you give that user a full Salesforce license, because I need a user in the system that has full admin access. All right, that's request number 1 on the CRM side. On the Marketing Cloud side, same thing. Create a user, call it this name, use the same email address that you used in the CRM, which is this, and give the Marketing Cloud user administrative level access, which is those 2 roles that we talked about earlier. Okay, so those will be the first set of requests. So the next thing, so I need to be able to log in as this person, because folks, as you see right now, I'm logged in as myself, SFMC instructor. I'm not logged in as the integration user. So I need to make sure I have the login credentials for this user. So let me check. So folks, I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a minute just to check for something. explain the why behind what I'm doing. Okay, so I do have okay, good. I have the login access. Good. Now let's go back to sharing. Okay, so I have the login access for this user, which is good. This one, I'm logging as this one. Let's go back one step. Do I have this login access? Okay, this is fine. So I'm going to change this email address to another email address. I'm going to use another email address that I have access to. Because the end result is I want to be able to log in as a regular user, not the system user. So I'm going to call this sometimes instructor. That this, and it's going to send me that email. Okay, so I'm going to check for that email and click on that link. If you give me a minute, let's see if that email comes true. Okay, the email has come true. I've clicked on the link. Okay. All right. So now the other thing I need to do is for me to be able to log in as this guy, I need to change this password. Actually, just do a password reset and that should do it. What's this? Yes, reset password. Yeah, I send it to that. Okay. All right, now we can go back to giving you guys context about what I've just done. So if we go back to the scenario where, let's say I was going to do this integration for a client. The client has Marketing Cloud, the client also has Salesforce CRM. So what I'll request from them actually is 2 users on both sides. So 2 users in the CRM and 2 users in Marketing Cloud. Okay, and we'll need the same level of access for both users on both sides. So the 2 users in Marketing Cloud, we need admin and Salesforce Marketing Cloud administrator. And the 2 users on the CRM side will need system administrator. Okay. Why do I need that many users? Well, this one, the system integration user, is going to be connected with this integration user in Marketing Cloud. This will be our system level connection. This will be our bridge between both systems. Okay. So we're going to connect both systems using this user, which is the integration user, with the integration user in the CRM. That'll be our bridge. Once that bridge is built, then I will log in as myself, which is this other user profile, and connect this profile here with my actual profile, which is this one. So I'll connect it to this user. All right. I know it's a bit of back and forth, but we're going to go through the exercise and it'll make sense. So yes, Robert, please go ahead. Let's see, perhaps I need to unmute you. Okay, yes, you can unmute yourself now.
Yes, I was just going to say I was getting a little confused, but if you're going to be actually going through it, it's okay, because I wasn't sure why you're making it for two when just the one. But I guess
it'll make sense. It'll make sense once I do it.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Okay, so those were just some preliminary things that needed to be done. Now we can go through the step-by-step process. But first, let's log out. We're going to log out of Marketing Cloud. And I'll just have one window open. And then I'm going to log out. Let's see, who am I logged in as? Let's just refresh. Okay, I'm logged in as the integration user, that's fine. Okay, so step one, make sure you have the prerequisites, which is what I just did, making sure I have the right number of users with the right level of access on both sides. Step two, download the managed package. So once we click on that, it opens up this window, which is yet to load. Come on. No, I don't know why this is not loading. Interesting. It worked before. That's not helpful. So folks, I'm not sure why this page is not displaying. What are my options in terms of what I can do to make this load? Okay, let's try incognito. That work. It's working now. Let's go back. Okay, I don't know why it's opening up in incognito, but not in the regular window, but that's not a problem. I will just spin up a new desktop and place that window here. So our incognito window is here. So, okay, so the request was install the managed package. What's this doing? Download the managed package. So this is where we download it. So once you get here, you have to follow the instructions. So it says install the most recent version of a supported web browser. I think my Chrome is up to date. Paste this URL in your browser. Now you see here, it gives you two options. So if you are going to be connecting your Marketing Cloud account to a Salesforce production org, then this is the URL you want to select. But if you're connecting it to a sandbox, you want the sandbox URL. So I'm going to copy the sandbox URL and I'll just paste that here. Okay, so let it redirect. And now it's going to ask me to log in. Okay, so I have to log in as this user. Let's go get the folks, give me a second. Let me get the login information. It's on another window. Sandbox. I'll just put it in my email. So username and password. Okay, let's go back to sharing. So I take it you can see my screen again. So the next step, once you log in, it loads a page or a window for you to download the managed package. All right, so let's go back to our step-by-step guide. So here it says select the right URL. We've done that. There are some more instructions. Ensure the managed package installs correctly. Enable custom platform events. Blah, blah, blah. That's all fine. After the login, select who to install the package for, and then click install. So this is where it's talking about who do we want to install it for? Admins, all users, or specific profiles. Let's say I was doing this for a client. I'll typically say install for all users because we don't want only the admins to have access to Marketing Cloud from the CRM. Okay, so say install. Let's go back. You've prompted grant access to these third-party websites. Yes. So these are the third-party websites. We want to grant access to them. We'll check off the box yes. And what does it say? Click continue. Okay. So it's installing the managed package. Let's see what else. So that's all for that component. Okay. So I think we can. So we have to wait till the managed package is fully installed, and then we can proceed to step 3, which is configure the CRM settings. So if you look here, this image here is the guided step-by-step process. You review your prerequisites and install the package. We reviewed our prerequisites. We're currently installing the package. After that, we configure Marketing Cloud. After that, we configure the CRM, we configure the settings, and then we test the connection. So this is the whole process we're going to walk through. And we're not going to finish it tonight, that's for sure. Or that's not likely, shouldn't be so specific, but we will most likely finish tomorrow. Okay? The app is taking some time to install. You receive an email after the installation is completed. That's fine. So it's because of things like this that when you're doing the implementation of Marketing Cloud Connect, you want to have access to the email address because as you see here, an email is going to be sent. If you're using a user profile where you don't have access to that email box, how do you know when this notification is sent? Right? So the notification hasn't come, but that's fine. So for now, we can say done. And let's see if the managed package shows up. Connected apps, no. Excuse me. So it hasn't completed yet, but once it's done, it'll be listed here as a managed package or as a installed package. So it's still running in the background. Once it's done, we'll get notified by email. Okay. Any questions on these first few steps, on anything you've seen in the prerequisite and the package installation? Thoughts, comments, questions, concerns? Yes, Robert, let me unmute you. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, so just to confirm, the integration person has, you need that person first because they have full access in order to make that connection. And then you have, and then you can have additional users in Marketing Cloud and Sales Cloud connected, but they don't necessarily have full access. They're just allowed to be able to set up so they can send Marketing Cloud emails within Sales Cloud. So they don't have full access, but they can send emails through access. Is that how it works?
You can, so I'll answer the first question. Yes, we need the integration user. We need to set that up first. Once we've set up the integration user, so the integration user is what we're going to do to set up all of these steps and test the connection and make sure everything works. Once that's in place, then we can start to connect all the other users who need access to Marketing Cloud. So think of it this way, if we put this into a different context. As of today, I believe the US, the country, the US, doesn't have any relations with North Korea. Yes, they are not friendly states. But if, let's say, North Korea, the country, had a change of heart, their leader became a better person and did all the things that the US wanted them to do. And the US wanted to establish a relationship with North Korea. What the US will first of all do is send an ambassador, or let's say 2 or 3 top-level officials to North Korea to go establish that relationship. Then they have a handshake and then they have an agreement. Once that agreement is in place, then US citizens can start traveling to North Korea to visit, and vice versa. North Koreans can start coming to the US to visit. Does that scenario make sense in terms of this Marketing Cloud context? Silence, okay. The point is, we start with the integration user to build the bridge between both systems. Once that bridge is in place, then we connect all the other users on both sides. Okay? Robert, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I was still unmuted. I couldn't respond. So I just wanted to confirm. So once they let people back and forth between the US and Korea, they both have full access to go everywhere in US and Korea.
You can specify what kind of access you want to give them. If you want them to be able to see some things but not see some other things, you can limit the access. Or you can, if you want, you can give them full access to visit as many sections of Marketing Cloud as they want.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
So, no problem. Let's check to see. Okay, so see, the email message came through saying our package was successfully installed. So this is why you need access to that email address on the integration user, or else how do you know when this is done? So if we come back here and refresh, okay, see right here at the bottom, a few minutes ago, our managed package was installed. So that bit is done. So we finished step 2 successfully. Step 3 is to configure our CRM settings. Okay, so the why do we have to do this is to make sure our users in the CRM can view email fields for contacts and leads. And then you can set up any additional permission sets with your Salesforce CRM account. So to Robert's question, you can give people whatever access they need or take away whatever access they don't need in your CRM using permission sets. All right. So just because we want to give people Marketing Cloud access doesn't mean we should give them administrator level profiles in the CRM. Okay, you can still set up a custom profile in the CRM and give people access to Marketing Cloud. Cool. Coolio. Okay, so let's go and do this bit. So for step 3, configure the CRM. So this is the guided process again. So we've done step 1, we've done step 2, we're on step 3. So all of this gives you context on all the things that I talked about and the system users and all of that. So let's scroll down to step 3. This is going to make me take this quiz. Okay, I think step 3, the step-by-step guide. It's not this section, so let's go back. Yeah, so this is where step 3 is. So here, we've installed the package. We're going to follow these next few things. So we've done step 2, which is, all right, so we're on step 3. Okay, so we installed the managed package. There are a few things we need to do to make this work in the CRM. So the first thing we're going to do is modify page layouts. So we're going to go into the CRM and search for users. So actually, we are on users. So users and the build customize. Click page layout. Okay, now I'll move this closer to this window. Users. Page layout. So we are on users. Page layout. So sometimes, so sometimes the instructions in the trailhead, some of these instructions are old. What it should ideally say is go to setup, and then in setup, click on Object Manager, and then search for users. But the instruction is saying go to setup, enter users in the quick find box, and under users, build customized page layouts. That's not very helpful. Where we're supposed to go is Object Manager and then users. You find out these things once you've done this a few times. So now we can go to page layouts. So page layout. Okay, page layout. Click edit. All right, and then we want to find these 2 fields, Marketing Cloud, App Exchange User, App Exchange Admin. Okay, so you see those fields here? Marketing Cloud, just going to drop them. I'm going to drop them. Let's scroll down a bit. Come down here and here. So App Exchange Admin and App Exchange User. User and admin. Okay, so that's done, and click on Save. And now we shall save. Okay. So next step is modify the lead page layout. So see, same thing. It says go to setup, search for leads, click on page layout. So what this means is when this trailhead was created, maybe Object Manager wasn't available back then. Nevertheless, sometimes you have to think through the instructions, not just follow blindly. So same thing. In the lead page layout, we're going to add a related list. So the related list is called email sends. So related list. Email sends, there it is. So where on the page layout do we put it? We put it beneath HTML status. And we see that. Actually, you could put it wherever you want. You don't have to. So I am going to put it here. There we go. And then email sends. And then the next related list is going to be individual email results. So that's this one. I'm going to drag it right on top of email sends. Okay. The next one, next select visual force pages. So visual force pages and drag lead actions. Where do we drag that to? We're going to drag it to description information. So where do we have that? Description information. Right here. So lead actions is going to description information. Okay. Save. Override users related customizations. Yes. So we're going to save and yes. All right. So folks, this is why Black Force, the organization, has structured your learning process this way. They made you go through the Salesforce Administrator and the Salesforce Essentials training before you get to the Marketing Cloud and all the other ones, because you're familiar with this layout, you're familiar with the CRM. So all of these things that I'm doing, none of this should be new to you. All right. So they built that good foundation for you, and we're just adding the Marketing Cloud bit on top of it. So next requirement is to modify the contact page layout. So we're going to do pretty much the same thing we did for leads. Page layout. And then related list, email send, individual email results. Okay, related list, email sends. We'll make it the first one. Individual email results, make it the next one. Right, what else? Visual force pages. All right, where is that? Oh, that's here. Contact actions. So contact actions, where should we put it? All right, we'll put it here on the description information. And then what else? Save, overwrite, yes. Save, overwrite, yes. Okay, that's done. Let's see. User object, yeah, that's correct. So next thing, so what we just did is give visibility into email sends for both of these objects. So whenever an email goes out to a lead or contact, you can go to that lead or contact record, and because we've updated their page layout, you're able to see what email was sent to this lead or contact, when was it sent, all that good stuff, right? Okay, so next step, grant access to your marketing cloud admin. So let's move on to user permissions, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so let's go to manage users. Go to users, and then edit next to the name of admin user you've identified. Okay, so we're going to start with our integration user. So we're going to add these two fields to that user profile, that user's record. So those two fields are here. So we're going to check those boxes and save. So check those two boxes and click on save. There we go. The next step is to set up the CRM API user. Okay, so users. Yeah, so this here is a step in the trailhead. It's under step 3, but when I do it, I tend to do it as part of the prerequisites. So this user that they're telling us to set up, we've already set it up. That's what this integration user is. All right, so we've already set up this user. So we don't need to go through this step. But when you're doing it, feel free to go by the book. All right? I'm just doing it my way because it's quicker that way. Okay, but some things we'll need to do. We'll need to check off the marketing user on this person. So see here, that box is already checked. We'll need to check off these two boxes. Those two boxes are already checked. So that's done. The user has the system administrator profile. They have the Salesforce license. Check and check. What else? So this we don't need to do because the user already exists. So that's fine. Okay, create permission set. So why are we doing the permission set creation? Because we want the two systems, namely Marketing Cloud and the CRM, to communicate properly. So we're going to create a generic permission set in the CRM and update the connected app. All right, so let's go through that. So go to manage users, permission sets new. Permission sets and new. So what should we call it? So they've suggested a name for our permission set. Let's go ahead and use that. So typically, when you're doing this for the first time, that permission set will likely not exist in the account. Okay, so and we'll copy that description. Folks, as I go through this, I'll be checking the chat just in case you have questions. Feel free to interrupt me as I go through this. So we'll click on save. Okay, so save, and then what's the next thing? Manage assignments. All right, let's see. No questions, good. Let's go ahead and manage the assignments and add assignments. Okay, so we're going to assign, what do they say? Select the CRM API user account we created in the last section. So we're going to give this permission set to our integration user, right? We'll go next, we assign, and we leave happily ever after. Okay, that's done. Next, what's a permission set without permission? Don't worry, all right? It's a step that's in there for a reason, and this is the reason: connection and authentication. So keep in mind this here. All end users who plan to use Marketing Cloud Connect to send emails need this permission set assigned to their user record in the CRM. So if you have users in your CRM whose role, their job function requires them to send emails, you have to assign this new permission set to them, just like we just assigned it to this guy. All right, but that's not something we need to do now. We'll do it later on. Let's finish building our bridge between both systems. Okay, next requirement is to update the field level security. So this is for a few objects. Okay, question from Uduak. Let's get you unmuted. Where is your hand? Okay, go ahead.
Hi, I just want to confirm this bridge that we're building, and we're saying the system admin in the CRM has to have a Marketing Cloud user account, and then someone in Marketing Cloud will have admin and Marketing Cloud admin. Is this supposed to be the same person, or?
Yes, it should be. So when you're doing this process, you need to have a dedicated license in the CRM for your integration user, all right? A dedicated full Salesforce license and the system admin role assigned to that user. So you need that in the CRM, and you need a user in Marketing Cloud with the Marketing Cloud administrator and administrator roles assigned to them. And it should be the same email address on both sides. Okay, that's why you saw me changing the email addresses on the user in the CRM and the user in Marketing Cloud, because it has to be the same email address. That's what we're using to build the bridge. All right, taking you muted yourself back, but you got the gist. No, well, when you put it this way, what you mean by 3 licenses is, or let me just clarify. In Marketing Cloud, you need, all right, let me unmute you. I think that might be better instead of me speaking for you. Where is it? Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, so basically it's one person with a CRM admin role, and then same person with MC admin and whatever the other roles in Marketing Cloud.
Correct. So one person in the CRM with the system admin and full license, and same person in Marketing Cloud with the administrator and Marketing Cloud administrator roles assigned to them, which is the equivalent of the system admin in Marketing Cloud, all right? That's what we need to build a bridge between both systems. Okay, so we'll keep it moving. Next step is to update the field level security. All right, so we'll go to leads, the leads object. Okay, fields. email opt-out. So we want the email opt-out field, and then we're going to set the field level security for this field. And what is it we're doing exactly? We want it to be visible. Select checkbox for all user profiles that need access to Marketing Cloud. Okay, so we're going to check visible. Now, if, let's say you're a Salesforce administrator and you're the one going through this exercise, and you know the people in your organization who are assigned each of these profiles. If you know for sure the executive sponsor, this is a senior level person, this person is not likely to be the one sending emails, then there's no point checking this box. But the marketing user, this is somebody in the marketing team, they are most likely the ones to be sending emails, then you can check the box for them, all right? As the system admin in an organization, you know what roles each person that has access to your CRM performs, and you know what they do. So it's up to you if you want to make it visible to everyone or not. But for the sake of this exercise, I'll make it visible to everybody, all right? We can always come back and change it if needed. Okay, so essentially, we're making the email opt-out field visible to everybody in the CRM, or everybody who has access to the CRM, or who has access to the leads object in the CRM. So we'll click on save. Did we save? I think we did. Yeah, we saved it. And then we'll go, okay, we'll go do the same thing for contacts. So let's go back one step, find contacts, do the same thing. Fields, email opt-out, field level security, check the box, and save. Okay, so we've done that for contacts. Okay, so next step is for you to grab a snack. So folks, go ahead and grab a snack. But moving on, next thing we need to do is configure the Marketing Cloud connection. So if you go back to this guided process diagram, we did step 1, we've done step 2, we've done step 3, which is configuring the CRM. Next, we're going to step 4, which is configuring the Marketing Cloud settings. Okay, so folks, I was joking when I said grab a snack. Don't grab no snack. Get someone to bring the snack to you because we are zooming on. So next step is configure the Marketing Cloud connection. Okay. So here, these are the things we're going to accomplish. So see, we've done step 1, we've done step 2, we've done step 3, which is configuring the CRM settings. We're on step 4, and we're making good progress, folks. So we're going to go through step 4. We're halfway there, all right? So here, this is the step where you configure a dedicated user inside of Marketing Cloud, and you assign them those 2 roles, admin and SFMC admin. But of course, as you already know, I already have that user created, right? So I already have that user created, so I don't need to go through this step. Okay. See here, this is where you assign those 2 roles to your integration user in Marketing Cloud. We've already done this so you don't need to redo it. Okay, so next step now is to log into Marketing Cloud as our integration user. Okay, so let me go do that. I have to go get the login details for my integration user. So if you give me a minute, I'll go grab that information and I'll come back to sharing my screen. So where is it? LevOps. Yes. That's the username. And password. Okay, so I'm going back to sharing my screen. Okay, so this, I take it you see my screen again. This is the login information for my integration user in Marketing Cloud. So let's, doesn't like something. Let's try password reset. Yeah. Okay, let's do a password reset. Send a verification code. Oh, I haven't seen it. Okay, this is going to slow us down by a few minutes, but we're still good on time. It's not in spam. It's not in promotions. Socials. Okay, let's request it be sent again. Okay. Now we're just waiting for the system to send me this verification email. Okay, I want to refresh. Thanks for your patience, folks. Run the system. Paste the new bit slow. Let's see the email. Okay, so what I may need to do is try something different. Okay, I'm going to have to reset the password for my integration user in Marketing Cloud. So I will organize this. This guy. And then password anyway. I'll be back. Folks, I'm just retrieving passwords and such. So I'm going back to share my screen. Let me know once you see it. The code 237. So tried doing a password reset for my integration user in Marketing Cloud, but that did not work. So here's what we'll do. I'm going to do a forced password reset here for this user. So to change the password. So I'm going to give this password or this user a new password. Or let's check something. Perhaps I was using the wrong username. All right, folks, give me a minute. Just some technical challenges. That's the problem with too many passwords. So I'm going to try one more thing. If that doesn't work, I'll do the password reset. So let's try this. That's the username, this password. All right, that did not work. So let's see. Okay, so I'm back to share my screen. Logging back in as myself. What I was trying to do did not work, so I have to do a forced password reset for my integration user. So on the bright side, this process is going faster than it typically does. So we're doing very well on time. So I'll explain to you guys what I'm about to do. I just need to create a password here. March 8th. So now let's try and log in as this user with the new password. That should work. All right, that's good. Verification code. Okay, folks, thanks for your patience. So just to bring us back to what we're trying to accomplish here. And also to emphasize why you want to have a dedicated user for your integration on the Marketing Cloud side and on the Salesforce CRM side. So the next step in our process is to log into Marketing Cloud as the integration user, which is what I just did. So you see here, the username says integration user, not SFMC instructor. The SFMC instructor is my regular login. The integration user is the dedicated user that I'm going to connect to my dedicated user in the CRM. Okay? That's what's going to build our bridge between both systems. This user in the CRM and this user in Marketing Cloud. they are going to exist solely for the purposes of integrating both systems. All right, so let's go through this next step. So in Marketing Cloud, we have to go to Setup and search for Salesforce integration. So we go to Setup and search for that. So you see here, this is where we connect both systems, right? So click on Edit, select Scope by User, and make sure it's deselected. Let's move that this way. So it's deselected. That's fine. Then click on Connect Account. But before we click on Connect Account, we want to check off the Is Sandbox checkbox because we are indeed connecting to a sandbox instance of the CRM. If you were connecting to a production instance of the CRM, you won't need to check off this box, all right? That's one of the slight differences between connecting to a production instance or connecting to a sandbox instance, right? So next step is to click on Connect Account. Okay, so let's do that. Right now, see, nothing shows up here, right? There's no Salesforce org ID, there's no Salesforce system user. So now we have to log into the CRM using our integration user's credentials. Okay, so I'm going to go pull that information and enter it into this window. So just bear with me. I know this is a bit distracting, all this sharing and not sharing. Okay, so the username is this. And the password is this. Going back to sharing. So hopefully you see my screen again. I'm about to log into the CRM, the sandbox, using the login information for my integration user in the sandbox. All right, so off we go. So this is where we're allowing Marketing Cloud to connect to our sandbox CRM, right? Allow. Okay, so that's gone through. And you see what happened? The window refreshed, and now we are connected to the Black Force Cohort 6 sandbox, which is this one. You see it here. It says the connection is gone through, and we can see the sandbox org ID, right? So that's solid progress. So yeah, steps 6 to 9 are what we just saw. So what we just did is create that handshake between SFMC and SFDC, the sandbox, right? So we've established a relationship between both systems. So now we're on step 5 to finalize the configuration and do some testing. Any questions on that bit that we just went through? So let's answer Robert's question. So here's the yes, please go ahead.
So when they set up my Marketing Cloud connection, they did it with just me. They didn't do like an integrated user and a user. So they probably set that up wrong. With me just being that one person now, is that going to cause a problem anytime down the road?
So that's not best practice because they've
What if I
used your
leave?
profile. Yes,
Yeah.
Exactly. If you leave the organization tomorrow, they're going to turn up your email address. And then the connection between the Marketing Cloud account and the CRM account is going to break because that email address is no longer active. There's nobody monitoring it, and nobody is going to get any notification sent to that email address when there's any issue. That's why you need a dedicated license for this purpose, not to use an existing user's profile.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, you on the consultant side, you tend to come across situations where organizations do it that way. It's not the best. And sometimes the consultant who configures this is forced to do it that way because the client, the organization, did not provide a dedicated license. The client might say, hey, look, we've run out of CRM licenses. I'm not going to go pay for another one. So why don't you just use this user's profile to make that connection so I don't have to pay for a new license? That's usually the reason, but not the best approach. Okay. So folks, we're at 7:50. We're almost at the end, but I doubt we can get through step 5 and 6 in 10 minutes. So what we'll do is we'll leave it there for the configuration process. We'll pick it up tomorrow from here, step 5, and we'll finish up the integration process. And then we'll test it. We'll test it to see that we can see data on both sides. We can send emails on both sides. And other users are able to see this information from both sides. All right? Questions? So, okay, Udrak's question. Can the user email be changed at least in Robert's case? Yes. Yes, so you can definitely, so in Robert's case, what I'll recommend, so if Robert leaves, can they change the email address to someone else's email address? Yes, that can be done. Certainly can be done. But the recommendation is it shouldn't be somebody's user profile that's used for the integration. It should be a dedicated user with a dedicated email address. Because most times, these things are managed by the IT team, and the IT team has some standard email address that they use for all tickets or issues or that sort of thing. So that's the email address that should be used. So let me unmute you, Jack. Where's this thing? Okay. Yeah, Udrak, go ahead. I've unmuted you, Udrak. Please go ahead with your question or comment.
Okay. So I was just asking, like in this Robert's case, so that means this integration user we have here is not even a user, it's just like an account that is dedicated for this linking.
Yes, that's what it is.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay.
But I guess it's semantics. You refer to it as an account, but an account is the whole Marketing Cloud account. But I get what you're saying. But the right term is user, not account. Other questions, comments, thoughts, concerns on any of this good stuff that we've talked about today. Is that Robert? Yeah, Robert, go ahead.
Yes, I'm hoping that you're going to go through this once we do tests and stuff. I find that trying to sync just specific people between Sales Cloud and Marketing Cloud, and when you have a data extension, let's say you've got it in a Journey Builder or whatever, you've got a data extension, and in terms of updating it, what's the best way to update a field, a column in that data extension so that when the journey is running through it, it's got the most updated Salesforce value, Sales Cloud value in it? I don't know if I'm making any sense. To give you an example, a journey we have can have somebody who's attending an event, and at the first time they go into the journey, they're registered, but then they attend the event, and now in Sales Cloud campaign, they've changed from registered to attended, but that does not go across.
Right. Yeah. So, Robert, the answer to your question is yes. I will touch on it, but it's a bit. I know you're more of an advanced person in this class because you already have both systems. You're more familiar. But for most people in this class now, this is my assumption, it's a bit premature because we've not even talked about Journey Builder in the first place. But
very true.
When we get to the Journey Builder class, I'll talk about it.
Okay. Because it is important. It's important to know.
Most
right?
certainly.
Yeah, it's important to know that you can't just it won't do it magically. So there's got to be a way of doing it, right? It's important to know. Because that's when you come across that problem, you're like, what do you do? Because I certainly don't know the best way to do it. I'm curious to know how you do it.
Yeah, I'll share with you how I do it.
Okay.
So folks, there's a reason why the sequence of the classes are happening the way they're happening. So we started with all the essential stuff, Email Studio, creating emails, creating web pages and such, sending emails. And then we're talking about the connection between both systems. So the Marketing Cloud and then the CRM. Once we've completed this configuration process tomorrow, the next class we'll start to get into Automation Studio and Journey Builder. And some of Robert's questions will start to make sense to you guys who have not previously been exposed to Marketing Cloud in connection with the CRM. All right. So we'll leave it there for tonight. In the absence of any final questions, thoughts, or comments, I will connect with you guys tomorrow. Okay.